more pep in your step. You're not doing cardio hanging down like this. Who wins the debate? What's better, fasted or fed? What's up, it's your boy John Ashiv. I have VB Promos to tell like it is. We're back at the Blue Star Nutraceuticals training facility. And I'm gonna do an arm workout, but while I'm training, let's talk fasted versus fed training. So I guess the question is, should you train fasted or fed? What are the benefits and drawbacks for both? You know, is it gonna improve your overall performance? Is it gonna take away from your overall performance? Will you burn more fat fasted? Will you burn more fat fed? We're gonna cover all those things in this video right now so you can have a better, clear understanding of how to approach each type of training, fed versus fasted. So let's just get a basic understanding of what fasted training is. So let's just, for example, you ate the night before, you go to bed, your body digests, recovers, then you wake up and you go to the gym and train and you don't eat. The thought process behind that is basically that you tap into your fat stores faster and you use that as energy or fuel when you train, therefore burning more fat as you train. So for those people who are looking to burn fat quicker, this would be a way to do so. That would be fasted training, much like fasted cardio. So some benefits of, fasted training. Number one, you're gonna burn fat right when you get up. That's the first thing you're gonna do right away is burning fat. So those people who are trying to lose fat quicker, this is a good approach. Number two, you're gonna be able to train without feeling like weighted down. Sometimes people train fed, they feel weighted down. Now, if you're on top of that, is you're starting off your day basically going into a deficit, which is really good. So if you're someone who's in intermittent fasting, if you have a busy life and you have to get your life on the go right away, so you got your kids, you gotta get up and all those things, you can train without having to worry about taking so much time to get your day prepared in terms of making a meal, then going to the gym, because that could be a lengthy process. So it has its benefits for those type of instances, if that is what you need. So to be honest, I train fasted. For me, it's my lifestyle. When I get up in the morning, I have a client that I have to train in the morning and I'm out of the door. I don't have time to sit and make a meal. And then when I train, I'm in a fasted state. Then when I get home, I can eat my first meal. Is that much more satisfying because I'm fueling my body after training. That's the first thing I'm doing after I've done training is fueling my body. That's the first time I'm eating in the day, which kind of gets everything out of the way for me, for my schedule. So it's like purely convenience for me, but also it's gonna start my day off on a higher note for me that I'm not feeling sluggish. And that's just my own self-preference. Now, there are some drawbacks to fasted training, and this is from experience as well too. When you train fasted, you might lack a little bit in performance. You're not gonna be able to put out as much energy for your workout as if you would have eaten food. So for me, when I'm training fasted, yes, I'm training fasted, but I'm also supplementing stuff like amino fast to help with, my electrolytes, to give me something in me, to give me a little bit of fuel while I go. So when it comes to training fasted, it's a good thing to do, but you have to understand that there are some drawbacks there, that you can be tapping into your muscle for energy, which you necessarily don't want. You might not be able to sustain the amount of energy that you need for the type of training you're doing. You could be doing a boxing class in the morning. You could be doing a high intensity interval training. You could be doing something that requires that much more fuel. I find for myself when I'm doing just resistance training, and this is from example, just doing regular resistance training for me, it's very sustainable for me. But there's some times where I would do like a boxing class, and going to a boxing class on a fasted stomach just isn't feasible at all. And I found that out the very hard way. I couldn't sustain my energy, plus at the same time I ended up throwing up because too much lactic acid buildup. So there's always gonna be a little bit of drawback for training in a fasted state. So just remember that. Now, since we chatted about fasted training, now fed training, what is the difference? Well, fed training is obviously when you wake up and you eat something first and then you train. The benefits of that is basically you're fueling yourself, you're getting glycogen into the muscle. So say you're eating, say like eggs with like toast or a muffin or, you know, a bagel, you're getting that glycogen or that carb fuel that helps fuel the muscles. So when you're training, you get a good pump and you have a little bit more energy to sustain throughout the workout. So currently I'm training fasted, but in the past I've definitely trained fed. The benefits of that for me was, well, when I'm dieting for a show, it allowed me to be able to sustain my muscle that much more, but then give me the energy I needed to be able to sustain that muscle that I would potentially lose as if I was training the fasted state. When you're in a diet, that's one of your main goals, especially someone who is a bodybuilder like myself or anybody really dieting. The goal is to try to sustain the muscle that you have or that you've created previously. So training fed will benefit that. It will keep your body fueled. You get the fuel your body needs to be able to sustain the energy you need, and it keeps you in that anabolic state, meaning your body is in a place where it's building muscle and not using muscle as fuel. Now, for some obvious reasons why fed training would be a little more difficult would be like, surely like lifestyle. You get up in the morning and, you know, timing that first meal. I coach a lot of people and they're waking up in the morning and they're going to work. And most of them have to train before they go to work. And the biggest issue for them is trying to find the best way to be able to eat that first meal and then go to work. Before they found myself, they find themselves jamming something down, being in the gym and then feeling sluggish, or even feeling like there's too much, you know, food in their stomach, or they feel bloated. So a lot of the times it's, you know, food choices, meal timing, you know, all those things play into your ability to actually train. No one wants to train thinking about the entire time that their stomach hurts or have to use a washroom. So when it comes to fed training or, you know, training on a full stomach, you have to take into consideration of how much food you're gonna eat, how big is that meal, what's in that meal, and when to have that meal. And if you're not really thinking about that much, you're gonna find yourself in a very uncomfortable place when you're trying to train. So just think, you're in the gym trying to hit a PR, or you just wanna have the best workout of your life, and you're thinking about the entire time of how much your stomach hurts, or how much you have to use a washroom, or how bloated you are. Those things you have to think about when those type of things you have to think about when you're considering eating before you train. So I can really just speak from experience. You know, what is better in terms of fasted cardio and fed cardio, or say fasted cardio and fed training? Which one do you do? Number one for me, it's gonna be, I can start my day off fasted, and then my first meal, I get to eat. It's a mental thing, really. When I'm prepping for a show, for a bodybuilding show, if I eat my first meal before I train, I get home, then I'm hungry again, then I have to eat again. Those are 2 meals that are now gone. Or for me, it's like when I train, I come home, then I can eat. I'm basically eating my first meal hungry. So it's that much more satisfying for me. Now, for those out there wondering, like, should I do fasted cardio, and should I do fasted, training, or vice versa? Well, I find that fasted cardio is going to be that much easier for people to do in terms of just getting it out of the way. It's the first thing you do in the morning. You know, while you're doing your cardio, you can be, sipping on like amino fast to kind of give yourself a little bit of fuel. And then when you're done, you get to go home and you get to eat. And then throughout the day, or whenever you want to do your next training session, you have some food in you, and you can utilize that fuel to help, build muscle. If you think about it, I look at cardio as being the tool to lose fat, and training being the tool to build muscle. So for me, I'm going to put my training in a place when I'm prepping that's going to be around food, and then I'm going to put my cardio in a place where I'm going to do the most fat burning. So just think of that. Another thing too is like lifestyle is going to play a big role in this as well too. So if you find yourself that you don't have enough time in the morning to train, but you have enough time to do cardio, well, then you can do fasted cardio, and then again down the road you can train, or vice versa. The biggest point of this whole entire, the biggest point in the grand scheme of things is making sure that you're fueled throughout your day no matter what. So whether you do cardio in the morning or train in the morning, fasted or fed, well, you want to make sure that you're getting the right amount of nutrients and calories in your entire day. You can do fasted cardio all you want, but you're not eating enough food. That fasted cardio is really not going to benefit you, more so it's going to be a hindrance to your entire day. Same with training. If you train in the middle of the day or in the beginning of the day, regardless, if you're not fueling yourself properly, it's going to be a hindrance. You're not going to get the benefits out of your training session. So that's something you have to think about. When am I training? How am I training? What am I training? And then how much fuel am I getting throughout the entire day, not just in certain clunks of the day or certain chunks of the day. Now, when we're doing fasted cardio, there will be slight drawbacks to doing fasted cardio. Number one, we're looking at your overall body's energy. We're looking at like non-exercise activity thermogenesis, the stuff you do when you're not exercising. When your body doesn't have much fuel, your body slows down. So same thing when it comes to cardio. If you had like a little bit of food before cardio, you raise that. Your metabolism is a little higher. You have a little more pep in your step. You're not doing cardio hanging down like this, more so than you have that much more energy in your body to actually, put a little more wattage or intensity. Your steps are harder, they're longer, they're stronger. So the little bit of job from doing fasted cardio is just the overall amount of energy that you have to be able to do throughout your entire cardio session. The great benefits of training fed is that you're already eliciting muscle growth. You're giving your body enough fuel to be able to, use the energy to build muscle to repair. You're expanding the muscle through the glycogen by, having the muscles fed. And overall, you're able to sustain the muscle that you already have. So those are some benefits from training fed, and some of the, disadvantages of, doing fasted cardio. It's all going to come down to making sure that you're fueling yourself properly, either after you're doing fasted cardio and even before you're doing fed training. Who wins the debate? What's better, fasted or fed? There is no right answer. There's no right or wrong answer. There's no one size fits all answer. It's an individual case per case answer. Whether you're doing fasted training or fasted cardio, fed training or fed cardio, if we're not fueling ourselves properly, if we're not resting enough, if we're not drinking enough water, it doesn't matter what you do. You're not going to get the best out of your cardio or the best out of your training. So when it comes down to it, whatever approach you take, make sure that you're hitting off all those markers. Check off all those boxes. Eat enough calories, get enough protein, get enough fats and carbs, you're drinking enough water, and you're resting enough. And that's going to be the determining factor of whether or not you're going to hit your goals, whether you're training fasted, or doing cardio fasted, or training fed, or doing cardio fed. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. You guys know what it is. Iron sharpens iron. Progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.